What's up, YouTube? How you doing? I want to talk about the double slit experiment. If you're unfamiliar with what the double slit experiment is, it's where you make two little tiny slits, two really thin slits in a like a piece of paper or something, just some sort of like non-reflective thing. You shine a light at those two little slits, or you shine a laser at those two little slits, and you get like a what they're calling an interference pattern on the other side against the wall. You get an interference pattern where it's like spotted, kind of, where it's like. And they're calling those the waves. They're calling those waves in the light. uh, so like when it goes through it, like when it goes through the two little slits, they're saying they're saying they fired one photon at a time, and it is basically one photon was in two places simultaneously, which just sounds ridiculous. I tried to recreate the double slit experiment a while back, about a year or two ago or something like that. I tried to recreate it, my own laser, uh, but you can't. I couldn't do it. I couldn't recreate it, no matter how tiny I made the little slits, and no matter how close together I put them, no matter how accurately I shined the laser at those two little slits. I just simply couldn't get an interference pattern. I was able to get an interference pattern by putting a piece of hair in front of it, because I saw other people in the videos doing that, so I tried that. I put a piece of hair in front of the laser, and that caused an interference pattern, and I thought that was a little strange. So I was like, well, why is the hair causing an interference pattern, but the tiny little slit of paper between the two slits in the paper, like the tiny little medium of paper between the two slits in the paper, why was that not causing an interference pattern when I shine the light at it? It's because hair is transparent. It's because hair manipulates the light. It's because when you shine light through hair, it manipulates it. And you see people using hair in these videos, and or a nail, or razors. There's one video of a dude putting two razors next to each other, then calling that the slit. Your razors are reflective. Your razors are scattering the light. There's no... What you're noticing as an interference pattern is a simple scattering of the light because you used reflective lasers. Or you used a wire. There's one guy that said he put a piece of wire in front of the laser. The wire is another piece of reflective metal that scatters light. So there's that aspect to this experiment that the people online are not recreating it properly. None of them are. They're also doing the same thing as the Cavendish experiment. That's another video. That's maybe the next video. Is they're not showing the experiment in full view while the experiment is turned on. Is the thing. There's one guy, even he had the entire experiment. He had the laser, he had the slits, and he had the board behind the slits and everything. He had it set up. It looked like it was ready to go. He just had to press the button and turn it on, is what it looked like. He even had the laser like set up in a in a brace, you know, like it was not a homemade. It was not one of the homemade videos. it was this. This was like a college university guy or something. And he still put up diagrams in the video instead of just pressing the button and turning the freaking laser on and showing us the experiment. He still put up computer-made diagrams in the video. And then never turned on the experiment by the end of the video. So there's that aspect as well. That's two. They do the experiment wrong by using reflective surfaces. They don't show the experiment either indirectly or by simply never turning it on. they don't show it in full view is what I mean. Really, they don't show the experiment in full view while it's turned on. They've got parts of it off camera, like half the experiment is off camera and they're zoomed in right on like the slits or something like that. And so there's those two aspects: wrong experiment, faked experiment. Let me say that. Let me put it like that: faked experiment, because that's what they're doing. These are all fake videos. Then the third thing about this is one of the funniest, because if you think about the size of a photon versus the slits that they're making in the pieces of paper or whatever they're using, why the photon is so freaking small. I don't care if you used a razor to make your slit. The photon is so freaking small compared to that slit. Supposedly, this is assuming that they're right, that photons actually exist even at all, and that anything that they're saying is actually true at all. But like, assuming photons are real, the photons that they're talking about are so freaking atomically small compared to the slit that you made. What would be the reason for it to have... like, when it's... when it's gonna choose which slit, what is the reason that it becomes two and goes through both? What is the reason for that by nature, scientifically? What is the purpose of light doing that? Because I tried this experiment myself and I could not recreate it. I couldn't recreate the thing. It was impossible. No matter what I did, it was impossible. I even scaled it up. Big slits and a flashlight. And it's the same thing. You know what it does? It just makes... You shine a light at two holes. You know what it does on the wall behind it? It makes two lights on the wall because you made two holes. So it does the same thing when... It does the same thing. I couldn't recreate it. I'm going to make another video. I'm going to upload these at the same time. And in the other video, I'm going to actually perform the experiment and show you what I'm talking about, because none of the other videos will show it in full view. I will show it in full view. I'll be the one to show it in full view for you and be right or wrong, okay? Because I've already done the experiment. I've already seen it. I'm going to do it again. I'll even try to be way more accurate. I'll try to be even more accurate than I already was, which is going to be difficult because that means, like, being mathematical about the size of those slits and the orientation. And so there's actually a fourth problem to this experiment as well. Is light is generally just ambient. That is just the nature of light. It is ambient and it goes in all directions. Even this laser is not completely 100% pointing in the direction that I shine it. Okay? Right here. Here's my hand. You see? I'm not touching the laser yet, but there's ambient. You see? Now we'll touch the beam. Light is generally ambient, and it goes in. It is unless directed. Light is 360 around all directions. That's how it goes. That's the nature of light. It goes in all directions simultaneously. That's why you need things like this to direct it and fine point it. Otherwise, see if you can see it on the floor. It's kind of making a big fat dot, right? It's not actually that big. It's not actually that big. See, the hole is quite small, but when it hits the ground, it scatters, right? When it hits a surface, it scatters. And that's another problem with this experiment, is when you take it and you shine it at the slits, whatever you're shining at, the surface that you made your slits in, it's going to hit that surface and it's going to scatter before it goes through the slits. Okay? Then the light that makes it through the slits is going to hit the wall and it's going to scatter again. Okay? These silly experiments that they put online like this and that they tell you is a reason for gravity or a reason for light being, quantum physics, light being a particle wave, a wave particle, whatever you want to call it, whichever it actually is, whichever it actually isn't. Like, so we're going to go to the next video. I'm going to set this up again. We're going to show you in full view.